Welcome to the Tony Gaskin Show, best-selling author, celebrity life coach, and international speaker. The purpose of this show is to bring you motivation, inspiration, and education in the areas of life, love, and business. Thank you for joining me. Now let's get started. But I've been doing Q&A in my story. And yesterday I was talking about, I cut my comments off because I'm not the type to go back and forth with you in the sense of arguing with people. I share my truth on my page. You share your truth on your page. And, let those who need whichever decide for themselves. And so a young lady asked me, and this hit me some time back when I said there are no benefits to friends with benefits. And a young lady, I posted that question on my page. And one young lady said that, if you're honest about it, then there's no feelings involved. And see, that is a lie that we tell ourselves. And what you got to understand about sex is that there is no such thing as casual sex. And although it may be pleasurable, and although you can see it as pleasure, what you have to realize is that the very act of sex was created to reproduce. The very act of sex is two souls coming together to reproduce a third. So your body is going to do what it was created to do when you lie down with another human, regardless of what you are telling yourself about that action. So if you lie down with another person, you don't lie down and get up the same person. You lie down and you pick up their spirit. You take a piece of them and they take a piece of you. This is an exchange. When you have sex with someone, this is a spiritual exchange. Two spirits reproducing a third. You don't reproduce a third if you have contraceptives. But what you have to understand that a spirit, this transference, this transfer of energy is spiritual. It is not physical. So you get up and you feel differently. Even the dopamine and serotonin that is released from your brain during the act of sex alters your chemistry. It alters your emotions. It alters your feelings. So what you may do is you may put up a block in your mind. You may put up a block in your mind that says, I do not feel this. You may tell yourself, I do not feel this. This is just casual sex. But guess what? Your mind cannot block that forever, because once you lie down with someone, now this becomes spiritual warfare if it is outside of a lifetime commitment. If you are in a lifetime commitment and you have a covenant of marriage, then this transference is something spiritual on another level. This transference is something that is real, and this is something that can enhance your love. Outside of that covenant, outside of a lifetime commitment, this is spiritual warfare. And what happens is now your mind is trying to block the spiritual warfare. Your mind is telling yourself, this is just benefits, or this is just friends with benefits. This is non-committal. This does not matter. This is just because I want to. This is what I want to do. And you're a lie. That is a lie from the pit of hell. And what's going to happen is your mind will eventually get tired of fighting that spiritual warfare, trying to convince yourself that you lied down with another human being and got up the same way. It will get tired and it will affect you. So if it is not affecting you now, it will affect you later. Anybody who has ever had sex with people and moved on with their life, you can attest to having emotions and feelings and dreams and nightmares of that experience. It will come up without you asking it to, because your subconscious mind is still at war with the spiritual transference that happened, and it will eventually affect your conscious mind. What you also have to realize is that this is an action that has an equal or greater reaction. So what that means is when you choose to lie down with someone, you also have to answer to the fact that you just added another body to your list. And you also have to understand that one day someone has to choose you. And if that person chooses to ask you to produce your relationship resume, because they have a right to know who they are about to merge with, if they ask you to produce your relationship resume, these friends with benefits, these nights of casual sex will count against you as a termination. They will count against you on your relationship resume. And now the person that you want, the person that you love, if they chose to ask you this question, they may choose to keep moving with their life because you have not respected your body, you have not respected your soul, your spirit, and your mind, and you felt worthless enough to give yourself casually to different people. You may say this person is not random. That does not matter, because and it is actually worse, because if the person is not random, if it is truly a friend or a best friend or a ex-husband or a ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend or ex-wife, that is even worse, because there you have familiarity, and with familiarity breeds contempt. So you are actually building something with this person that you know well, because now, because of the comfort, because of the convenience, because you truly know them, it is even easier for your spiritual guards and your mental guards and your emotional guards to be let down. And although you may be able to lie to yourself for a period of time, you are strengthening a soul tie. And what you have to understand is that a soul tie is not magic. A soul tie is not rocket science. It's just a term that somebody came up with to label the act of lying down with somebody and picking up a piece of them. So what this does is it makes you familiar with this person. And now you have a piece of them and they have a piece of you. And if outside of this act of sex, there is also communication and conversation, if there's any time spent together leading up to the sex, after the sex, watching television, you are building and forming a bond. And what happens now is when you talk to this person, when you spend time with this person, when you sleep with this person, your body has an experience and your mind has an experience. And your mind is teaching your heart, your soul, and your spirit about this experience. And it is being etched on the tables of your heart, whether you want to admit it or not. So what happens is you become addicted to this feeling. And while you are saying this is just casual, that's why you want it all the time. That's why you keep going back to it. And you are labeling it as casual, but really you have a soul tie. You can have a soul tie with someone you have never been sexually active with. Just by spending time and bonding with them, you have connected with them in that way. So I want you to understand that there is no such thing as casual sex. Whether you label it that, you can label it that. This is happening. People are doing this, but that does not mean it is casual just because you call it casual. There are repercussions. And people say, a lady said to me, there's no friends, it's just benefits. Do you know what the word benefit means? See, you got to understand what a benefit is. That's not a benefit. That is a snare. That is a trap. That is confusion. That is not a benefit. A benefit makes your life better. A benefit enhances your life. A benefit helps you. You having sex with someone that you don't have a friendship with, or someone you don't have a real commitment with, that will hurt your life in every way possible. The one way it does not hurt your life is momentarily, is temporarily. That is because you receive pleasure. You receive pleasure, but what you have to understand is that people doing crack cocaine receive the same pleasure as those having sex. The same activators in your brain are being activated. The same chemicals from your brain is being released. So sex is just as addictive as a drug. But what you have to realize is that just like drugs, giving into that pleasure eventually leads to pain. Sex out of bounds, outside of marriage, to where two people are not fully committed to one another and fully faithful to one another, sex will lead to pain because it will form a bond. Somebody at some point will catch feelings. Then somebody's heart will be broken, or someone will receive a STD, or someone will become pregnant. Someone will become an absent father. Someone will become a single mother. Sex outside of bounds. Somebody say, I can protect myself. You cannot protect yourself from herpes and genital warts by wearing a condom. Condoms are not foolproof. People still get pregnant wearing condoms. People still get pregnant on birth control. There is no foolproof. You cannot put a condom or birth control on your heart. You cannot put a condom or birth control on your spirit. So even if you make it out without a STD, even if you make it out without bringing a child into this world out of wedlock, you still have contracted a sexually transmitted disease in your heart, in your mind, in your spirit, in your soul. And whether you hold yourself accountable and make yourself pay the price for being irresponsible, someone else will hold you accountable and make you pay the price for being irresponsible. Because you will meet someone who will say to you, I don't know if I want to be with you because of how reckless you've been with your body. Now, there is grace, there is forgiveness, there is an opportunity, and there is a chance that you may meet somebody. And see, I'm talking to you from the other side of this. I'm going on 12 years of happy marriage. Thank God that my wife was 19 years old and did not think to ask me, what have you done with your body? I wouldn't have been married. So I'm giving you experience like your uncle. I done been there and done that. While you in the moment, and some people say, Tony, you closed-minded. Man, listen to me. Listen to me. You don't know who you talking to. I've been with more people than you can count by the age of 22 This coming from experience. I'm telling you from pain. I'm telling you from heartache. I'm telling you from stupid mistakes. I ain't closed-minded. I done been around the world. I done lived more life than men in their 80s. What you also got to realize is I got 3 million people online. I receive over 1,000 messages a week of people's love and relationship situations. So while you are living your one life, and your friends' experiences, I'm seeing the experiences of tens of thousands of people. And I am a professional relationship coach by day. So while you go to work, whether you own your company or work for somebody else, and whatever you may be doing, my work is love and relationships, life, love, and business. This is my work. Recording my podcast, writing my books, and making my courses. This is what I do. There is no one in the world, no relationship coach in the world with 3 million people online who receives over 1,000 messages a week and has over 10,000 still left unread on love and relationships, and has coached individuals from the age of 16 to the age of 68 on 6 different continents. Hear me when I tell you, I don't have a closed mind. I see it all. I have heard it all, and I have lived through it all. When it comes to sex and when it comes to relationships, I have been single, lost, confused, and broken like you may be. And I am married and happy and 100% faithful with a mutual love like you may be seeking. I have been there. I have been here. What I tell you has been tested, tried, and true. This is not just my knowledge, my facts, my truth. This is data proven. So understand me when I tell you there is no such thing as casual sex. There are no benefits to friends with benefits, because you must understand the word friend and you must understand the word benefit. It is an oxymoron. It does not even go together if you put sex in that. There are benefits to friendship, but there are no benefits to friends with benefits. If you have friendship with the mindset of being true friends, there are benefits. If you have friendship with the mindset that we can be a couple and we can make it work, there are benefits to building on a firm foundation of friendship, love, trust, honesty, communication. But if you are friends with benefits, you are playing yourself. And this is what you have to understand, is that when you become active, and especially sexually active with someone else, you are not just responsible for yourself. Because imagine if you come in and you say, I want nothing from this. This is non-committal. But you are having sex and it is very strong. And imagine if you are mentally strong enough to say, this does not affect me. I do not feel nothing. This is not changing me. This is not doing anything to me. I'm not allowing my energy to be transferred. You're doing hamdulillahs. You're doing mantras. You're doing yoga. You're doing cleanses. You're doing detoxes. You're doing everything that you think. You're chanting. You're messing with crystals. You might be snorting some crystals. You're doing whatever it takes for you to try to protect what you think is your spirit, right? But the person you are with, you have no control over if they are lying to you, over if they are telling you that they feel nothing, that they are not committed, that they are not in it, that they completely agree and understand. You do not know if they have herpes or genital warts. You do not know if they have put a hole in the condom. You do not know if they slip the condom off in the midst of it. That happens. You do not know if they are going to turn crazy and come back for you and say, look, I thought this was non-committal. I thought this was friends with benefits. I thought I could do this. Now I'm absolutely crazy about you. I'm absolutely in love with you. People lose their life every day like this. You talking to somebody who has been in those trenches, who have seen the repercussions, and today do this for a living. You're not going to see. I saw that this was so real, loving relationships, life coaching, and all this was so real that I became a professional at the age of 23 because of what I was sharing was not common sense. It is common sense, but common sense is not common. People are losing their life. So listen to me. You have to guard your spirit. You have to guard your heart. You have to protect your peace. And you cannot do that with words alone. You cannot do that by lying to yourself. People saying, oh, it's a new world, Tony. You want to be traditional. You just want to. This is not about tradition. This is not about being traditional. This is about principle. Principles do not change. I don't care if you are in 3030 or 1860. Principles are the same. The same creator is on the throne. The same act of sex that was happening before Christ, after the death and resurrection, is the same sex that will be happening in year 4089. And the same principle will be true. When you lie down with someone, you do not get up the same. That is a principle. That is not a tradition. That is not a religion. It is a spiritual transfer. It is a spiritual transfer because the act of sex is to reproduce. Yes, it is pleasurable. Yes, you may use it for pleasure, but your mind and your body does not care about your pleasure. It was not created and wired to understand and to appreciate your pleasure. When you look at animals have sex, we are mammals. We are not animals. We think and operate on a higher level, although there are some animals who are actually smarter than us in different ways. But watch the Animal Channel and watch the way they have sex. They have sex, and they gone. It ain't no cuddling. It ain't no hugging and all of that. That is to show you that the Creator, when he created two reproductive organs in a male and a female species, that when it come together, it is to reproduce life. It may be pleasure for you, especially when you marry. It's just for pleasure. Me and my wife, we're not trying to have another child. We got 2 boys. We ain't trying to reproduce. We having pleasure. But guess what? Our body does not know the difference. My body does the same thing every time I lie down with my wife. It is there to reproduce life. And every time I lie down with my wife, I fall deeper in love because it is a spiritual transfer. This is not just physical. This is not just physical. So whether you have a blocker in your mind, whether you have mental blockers, whether you have visual blockers, spiritual blockers, whatever lies you telling to yourself, you got to get over it. You got to get past it, because if you keep lying to yourself, a lie to yourself is the worst type of lie you can tell. It is the absolute worst lie you can tell. You better off lying to somebody else. You better off trying to lie to God. But if you are lying to yourself, That's the worst lie you can tell. And if you are telling yourself that you can lie down with another human and that you get up the same and that there are no feelings and that you can continuously repeat the act and have no repercussions physically, emotionally, or spiritually, you are lost. You are deranged and you are confused. And I guarantee you, if you search your heart, if you search your past, you will find some things. It may be an absent father. It may be an absent mother. It may be that you were violated at a young age, rape or molestation. It may be abuse emotionally, physically, spiritually. It may be abandonment. It may be a string of broken hearts. It may be a string of lies. It may be a string of failures. It may be a string of letdowns. It may be that you were taken advantage of or you were abused sexually and you did not heal from that. But instead, it became your nature and it made you crave sex and that type of interaction more. So now it becomes spiritual on another level, and you may have become promiscuous. And now in this state, in order to function, in order to live, in order to keep your sanity, you have to reason and you have to make sense of that state of mind and that state of living. So you tell yourself, how many people I have slept with does not matter. You tell yourself that I can have casual sex and it does not matter. You tell yourself that men do it so I can do it, or women do it so I can do it. You tell yourself I have done this 50 times and I'm still okay. You tell yourself I saw my friend do it 100 times and he or she is still okay. So we began to make ourselves believe whatever we need to believe so that we can maintain our sanity and our composure in that state of living. People learn how to live in the jungle. People learn how to live without money. People learn how to live in bad health. People learn how to live in any circumstance or situation because that is what God programmed in our mind to do. So just because you are locked into a mindset that who you lie down with does not matter, does not make it okay. It does not make it right, because there are repercussions for casual sex. There are repercussions. Now see, if you take this sex and you put it inside of a covenant of marriage, a lifetime commitment, now it transitions from repercussions to rewards, because that enhances your relationship. That enhances your life. So I want you to understand that sex outside of bounds, outside of marriage, outside of a real commitment, there are repercussions. Whether you deny it now or later, you will have to answer to those choices. If not from yourself, then from someone else who will say, I, although you want me, do not want you. Because of the way that you have treated and handled your body, I am not comfortable with that. And you will hate for that to be your repercussion. When you are finally ready for real love, the person tells you, I have loved myself. I have guarded my heart. I have guarded my spirit. And I refuse to merge with someone who has not done the same. There are exceptions to the rule, and I am one of them. But I will never tell you that just because I drove 100 miles an hour down the road, hit a tree head on and live, I would never tell you to do the same thing. So just because I made it out on the other end, you have to realize that I made it out because he who called me gave me grace and favor because he knew that I would be obedient to commit my life to helping people who are lost and confused. So don't come in my comments with the confusion and with the lost mentality, talking about I'm boxed in and I need to open my mind and I want to be traditional, or just because I'm Christian, this ain't got nothing to do with tradition and religion. This is principles, and principles don't change. Whether you believe in God, Buddha, an ant, a golden calf, principles do not change. And I guarantee you, if you don't know now, keep living. And I guarantee you, never once out of the thousands of people that I've coached was reaching 20 to 40 million people a week online on Facebook. Never once has somebody come to me and say, Tony, what you told me about love and relationships was wrong. That I found out long term it was wrong. It might be wrong in the moment because your mind is in a different state. But if you keep living, you're going to see that principles don't change. Morals change. Values change. That's why you believe that casual sex is okay, because the morals and the values of society have changed. Morals change. Values change. Principles do not change. You could live in America. You could live in Haiti. You could live in Africa. You could live under a sea, under a rock, and principles will remain the same. You can be Christian. You can be atheist. Principles will remain the same. This universal laws, you do not lie down with a human and get up the same. There is no such thing as casual sex, and there is no such thing as friends with benefits if sex is involved. Hey, this is Tony Gaskins. Make sure you get the podcast. Man, I'm dropping real jewels. This is against everything that America says and believes today. This is against everything your comedians and your rappers going to say. This is going to be against everything that everybody going to say. But I'm going to be committed to this truth because I done lived it, because I know it to be true. I know it's a fact. I bet my bottom dollar on it. I give you my life and my heart on this. I know what I'm talking about. You could take it to the bank. You can bet everything you got on it. And I guarantee you, the truth pressed down to the ground will rise again. It will not return void. Stop lying to yourself. Hey, God bless you.